There are moments in life that stop you cold where the world keeps spinning, but your body forgets how to breathe. That's exactly what happened on the latest episode of Sister Wives when Janelle sat down in front of the cameras and tried to put words to something no mother should ever have to say. Her voice cracked, her hands trembled, and for a moment it felt like time stood still. She couldn't even remember what she did after hearing the news, only that she walked to the car and drove, just drove. That kind of pain doesn't perform for the camera. It doesn't need music or editing. It just breaks you. Hi, friends. Welcome back to TLC Next Reveal. I'm Mia, and today, we're diving into one of the rawest, most emotional turning points we've ever seen on this show. There's heartbreak, there's betrayal, and there's silence where there used to be unity. But in the middle of it all, one woman has stood quietly in her truth. And while the rest of the family battles over land loyalty and legacy, Janelle is simply trying to survive. If this episode hit you as hard as it hit me, don't forget to subscribe. Give this video a like and drop your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters here, and there's a lot we need to unpack. Are you ready for this one? Let's begin. When the episode opened with Janelle sitting in that interview chair, you could tell something had shifted. Her shoulders slumped in a way we've never seen before. Her eyes didn't just carry sadness, they carried shock, like she was still trying to convince herself it really happened. And then the words came out slow and shaky. She said she got the call and everything after that was a blur. She couldn't even tell the crew how she got to the car. She just knew her body moved, but her mind had shut off. And honestly, you could feel that it wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't made for TV. It was a real mother in real grief, trying to find her footing while standing on broken ground. What made this moment hit so hard wasn't just the loss, it was how raw it was. Janelle didn't hide behind makeup or platitudes. She didn't put on a strong front or deflect. She sat there visibly broken and just let us see it. And that kind of vulnerability is rare, especially in a show that spent over a decade trying to hold a perfect image together. Viewers instantly flooded social media with messages of support. You could feel the heartbreak echoing through the comments. Some shared stories of their own grief of brothers, sons, and friends gone too soon. Others just thanked Janelle for being real. One comment that stuck with me said, "I lost my brother when I was 14. Watching Janelle brought all of it back, and I just wanted to hug her through the screen." That's the power of showing up even in pain. It connects people in ways no script ever could. What's been especially powerful is how many fans are seeing Janelle not just as a grieving mother, but as the emotional anchor of the entire show. Through years of turmoil, shifting alliances, and painful splits, she's never chased the spotlight. She's always been the calm in the chaos, the one who quietly held everything together while others were falling apart. And now watching her break people, are realizing just how much weight she was carrying all along. In contrast, Kody's reaction, or rather his lack of one, felt jarring to a lot of fans. While Janelle was dissolving into tears, he seemed stiff, distant, almost cold. His grief didn't come across in the same way, and that difference didn't go unnoticed. Viewers pointed out how disconnected he seemed, not just in this moment, but for years. One person wrote, "It's like he's grieving the idea of being a father, not the loss of his actual son." That's a hard thing to hear, but it's what a lot of people felt. This episode wasn't just about loss. It was about visibility. It showed us who was truly present and who wasn't. And for many, it confirmed something they felt for a long time. Janelle was always more than just one of the wives. She was the heart. As the teaser rolled for the next episode, something immediately struck a nerve. There was Robyn crying again, speaking about how hard this has been for her, and the timing couldn't have been worse. Just moments after Janelle's heart-wrenching confession about losing Garrison, were cut to Robyn seemingly shifting the focus back to herself. It wasn't just awkward, it felt tone-deaf, and fans weren't having it. The reaction online was immediate and intense. Comment sections, Reddit threads, Instagram stories, everyone was saying the same thing. This wasn't the time for Robyn's tears. This wasn't the moment to center her grief. Viewers were begging the show, please don't make this about Robyn. Not this time. Not when Janelle is still visibly struggling to even breathe on camera. And look, it's not that people think Robyn can't grieve. It's that time and time again she's been positioned as the emotional centerpiece of the show, even when the moment clearly belongs to someone else. There's this recurring pattern that fans have pointed out. Whenever things get serious somehow, the story tilts toward Robyn's pain, Robyn's stress, Robyn's tears, and after a while it stops feeling authentic and starts to feel like emotional manipulation. One fan summed it up perfectly. Robyn always manages to cry just enough to pull the spotlight, but never enough to actually connect with the person who's hurting. That's what stings because this moment, this loss, was never hers to lead. And it's not just the audience noticing. The family dynamics are shifting too. McKeely, one of Christine's daughters who used to be close with Robyn, has reportedly cut ties with her altogether. The reason hasn't been spelled out on screen yet, but rumors point to something that happened during or after Garrison's funeral. Whatever it was, it clearly crossed a line. That bond they once shared, it's gone. And longtime viewers are seeing that fallout play out subtly. But clearly Robyn was once the favorite, the sweet newcomer who promised peace and unity. She cried during every interview, talked about family, and told everyone she just wanted love and harmony. But after over a decade of watching her actions, not just her words, people are changing their minds. For many fans, that sweet image has cracked and what's underneath isn't sitting right. Now, it's not just about Garrison or this one episode. It's about years of perceived favoritism, emotional deflection, and the slow unraveling of trust, not just between the wives, but between the show and its audience. There's a growing sense that Robyn's tears aren't about connection anymore, they're about control. This episode wasn't just emotional, it revealed who people believe are the real anchors in this family and who might be quietly rewriting the story to fit their own narrative. And fans, they're paying attention now more than ever. Now let's talk about the land, the infamous Coyote Pass. For years, this property was sold to the public as a symbol of unity, a future, a promise that the Brown family would one day build separate homes side by side, but still together. But as we've learned from watching season after season, promises in this family often come with an expiration date. What fans didn't see on the show, but was revealed behind the scenes, is that the land was officially sold. All of it. The entire Coyote Pass property was quietly sold off for $1.5 million earlier this month. And that might sound like a clean break, but nothing about it was clean, especially not when it comes to how that sale actually played out between the ex-wives and Kody. Here's the part that really shocked viewers. Christine sold her share of the land to Kody and Robyn for just $10. That wasn't a mistake. That was symbolic. Christine had already emotionally detached years ago. For her, letting go of that land wasn't about money. It was about freedom. She was done investing in a dream that never included her in the way it should have. That $10 wasn't just a transaction. It was a statement. She was walking away, and she wasn't looking back. But things were very different for Janelle and Mary. Unlike Christine, they didn't quietly hand over their rights. They demanded what they were owed. They put in money, time, emotional labor, everything into that land. They camped on it. They planned their homes. They stuck it out through Kody's endless indecision and broken blueprints. And when the land was up for sale, They weren't about to walk away empty-handed. They fought for their share and they got it. Janelle and Mary stepping up to claim what's theirs isn't just about property, it's about justice. It's about standing firm after years of being sidelined. These women were told to be patient, to trust the process, to believe in Kody's vision, and they did for a long time. But when that vision turned into excuses and those promises turned into silence, they finally said, enough. This property dispute has become the physical proof of everything that's gone wrong in this family. What once represented unity is now the final fracture line. The land they were all supposed to share became a battleground for respect validation and long overdue closure. Fans who've watched from the beginning know how much weight this land carried. It wasn't just dirt and trees. It was supposed to be the new beginning after leaving Las Vegas. It was supposed to be the place where they healed. But instead, it turned into a graveyard of false hopes. And now the sale marks the end of the illusion. No more pretending, no more waiting, just truth and hard consequences. And in the end, Janelle and Mary didn't just fight for money, they fought for recognition, for the years they stayed loyal while being treated like an afterthought. And this time, they weren't stepping back, while the rest of the family is grieving, fighting for fairness, or simply trying to hold themselves together. Kody Brown is once again elsewhere in a recent moment that left a lot of fans shaking their heads. Kody openly says he just wants to focus on being Robyn's loyal husband. And sure, at face value, maybe that sounds like growth or commitment, but in the context of everything else, it sounds more like surrender, not to love but to control. This isn't new behavior for Kody. Longtime fans have seen it coming. Over the past few seasons, his emotional distance has gone from frustrating to downright cold. When his relationships with Christine, Janelle, and even Mary began to crack, he didn't lean in, he didn't fight, he pulled away, he blamed, he redirected, and now, with so much of the family broken and raw, his version of stepping up is checking out, even during the heartbreaking scenes surrounding Garrison's death. Kody's presence felt limited, almost detached. Viewers picked up on it. You could feel it in the silences, in the awkward body language, in the way he struggled to comfort Janelle, or even really acknowledge the depth of her pain. And that's not just a missed moment, it's a pattern. Many fans believe this goes way deeper than just being emotionally immature. There's a growing theory, and it's not new, that Kody used religion more as a tool for control than for unity, that the spiritual foundation this family was supposedly built on was less about collective faith and more about power, about having control over multiple women, multiple homes, and presenting a carefully curated image of family perfection. But that image is shattered now, and instead of taking responsibility or even showing remorse, Kody seems more committed than ever to his role beside Robyn, the only wife who still stands beside him. It's like he's rewriting the story mid-season, the loyal husband, the man who just wanted one strong marriage. But that's not the man his ex-wives remember, and it's definitely not the man viewers see on their screens. Instead of facing the emotional weight of what his children and former partners are experiencing, Kody doubles down on distance. He avoids the hard conversations. He filters his emotions through frustration and deflection. And that's where fans start to feel angry, because this wasn't just about failed marriages, it was about failed accountability. People wanted to see a father rise in the face of tragedy, a man who might finally admit where he went wrong, but instead, Kody retreated. He built a wall around himself and called it loyalty to Robyn. And to many viewers, that wasn't loyalty, it was an escape. Now, if the season wasn't already emotional, intense enough with the family in pieces and real grief hanging in the air, Kody Brown managed to throw in one of the strangest claims we've heard in a while. Out of nowhere, He proudly says that one of the things that made him fall for Robyn was that she used to be a model. And not just any model. He claims she was a model for Diesel jeans. Yes, Diesel, as in the global denim brand. And honestly, when the words left his mouth, you could feel everyone watching the show collectively raise an eyebrow. It wasn't just the unexpectedness of the comment, it was the way he said it. Like this detail somehow explained everything, as if Robyn's supposed modeling past was a trophy that set her apart. But here's where things got interesting. In that same scene, Janelle, without being rude or overly dramatic, basically calls it out. She brings it up in this almost offhanded, knowing way, reminding viewers that Kody once told them all Robyn had modeled for Diesel jeans. But her tone, her face, it said more than words ever could. It was a subtle reminder that sometimes Kody lives more in fantasy than in fact. So naturally, fans went digging. They searched IMDb old modeling archives, fashion blogs, anything that could back up this story. And what they found? Nothing. No diesel campaigns, no runway photos, no magazine spreads. Robyn does have a couple of minor acting credits, small roles in things like Just Shoot Me and a CMT countdown show, but there's no actual evidence she was ever a model, let alone for an international fashion brand. Which leads us back to the bigger issue. How much of Kody's love for Robyn is based on reality, and how much of it is projection over and over? He paints her as the dream woman, the one who was pursued by other men, the one who somehow saved him. But this modeling claim just adds to the growing feeling that he's built Robyn up in his mind as something more than real. And in doing that, he's ignored the real women who stood by him. For decades, this strange twist isn't just about a modeling myth, it's a reflection of how Kody sees what he wants to see and rewrites history to fit the story that flatters him most. As this season unfolds, one thing becomes painfully clear. Grief doesn't lie. It strips away the performance, the posturing, and the false narratives. What we saw from Janelle wasn't just another reality TV moment. It was a raw, unfiltered glimpse into a mother's heartbreak. And it took real courage for her to let the cameras roll during one of the darkest times in her life. That honesty stood in stark contrast to the noise around her, from property disputes to bizarre modeling claims to yet another round of Robyn-centered drama. But through it all, Janelle didn't play to the spotlight. She stood steady, quietly strong. And it's that truth, that resilience that really stayed with fans this season. The Brown family is shifting. Alliances are breaking. People are choosing themselves after years of being silenced or overlooked. And that's not just drama. It's growth. It's painful, messy, and emotional. But it's real. And that's what keeps us watching. Let me know what you guys think. Are you as moved by Janelle's strength as I was? Do you think Kody will ever step back and see what he lost? What do you make of Robyn's place in all of this? Thanks so much for being here with me. This is Mia, and you're watching TLC Next Reveal. Don't forget to leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button for more honest breakdowns of the moments that matter. I'll see you in the next one.